Good morning, Eric.
Guten Tag, Paul.
Hey, this morning, since you know this product inside and out, I was wondering, I noticed when you use the product, you have a lot of little tips and things you do to group and format. You do them pretty quickly, so I miss them sometimes. I was wondering if you could slow that down a bit and show our viewers some of your favorite ways to make sure the data is presented most effectively.
Yeah, the way you want, the way you
The way
need,
I want, the
more
way
than
I,
the
yeah,
want is
really,
need. You need,
yeah, the way I need.
okay, you want to see that, but you want to see that organized by that in a way that after you can use that for another report or something that has a meaning. Yeah, okay, we have. Can I say of
Yeah, I
data?
think you can. I think you can. I believe
So
that's a
we
technical
have
term.
a of data loaded in Substance 65. So after that, the question is really about, okay, how can I get the full value of it and being able to do something with that for sure. And because seeing everything is nice, but then the optic is really about making it meaningful and usable.
Right. Because the other
Okay,
day you were talking about how we could make scheduled reports, and it
sure.
occurred to me, uh, and I remember seeing the Excel view, but it'd be nice if it was just ready to go
Yeah.
out of the
Okay.
box.
Okay. So let's do the share now. Share screen. Enter screen, select the screen, share, remove that, move
Okay,
this
I see it.
around. Let me get rid of this guy out of the view.
Okay.
Ah, yeah, perfect. So here I am in Subject 65. So I got my users. So I know I went here, click on all users, and get all my users loaded. So everything is there. Nice. So now, there is multiple ways. So if I look at the menu here, there is tabs. We tried to show here everything that is related to the grid. So all the methods, functions, features that we have around the grid. So we tried to create this kind of super tab. The super
Okay.
tabs that shows you this is about the grid.
Okay.
And the good thing is all this will be whatever module you open, whatever you're looking at, this will be available. Whatever way.
So,
It's
so
always
even
there.
like even if I were in groups, I'll still have these choices.
You will always have that. Manage is specific to what you're looking at, but the grid part here is for everybody.
Okay.
Okay. So what can I do? So I got the global one, so I'm sure you saw. So I think
Right.
we already talked about the export.
Yeah, we showed how to. So,
We will have all the session to talk about all this marvelous features we have around here.
okay.
This sort filter, same here. But the interesting part is about the column format, and so I'm going to focus on that for now. So the column format. So what can I? Okay, I have data. So data are shown in my grid, and so how can I organize my data in a different way? So to show my information the way I want. So one thing first is this part here, the freeze up to, or you can select or freeze up to. So the idea is pretty simple. By default, I think we set it here.
Oh, I
So
saw it
if
change. So whatever column you're on, it says freeze
exactly,
up to that. Okay.
exactly, yeah, it's contextual. So it's going to, depending on the column you selected, it
Uh
will
huh.
propose you to select. So the freeze will go just before. So let me show you. So I'm going to add more column on that. So to do that, I'm going to go here, show high column, and I'm going to add a lots of column because, okay, I don't know, what, everything, show everything. Bang.
Okay.
So
That's
now
a
I
lot.
got a pretty long view, with all my information that can be
Mm.
available in a way or another from Subject 65. So we're talking about, so if I check again, here, show high column, we're talking about 245 columns altogether. I didn't load it the on-premise information, by the way, so it can be more. So this is what
Okay.
I have. So, and then the problem is, so I'm going through the data, and then I'm looking at that, say, oh, this is interesting. Uh, who is this guy? So I have to re-go there every time. So this is where the freeze text option. So let's say if I put myself here on user type, freeze up, you see
Hmm.
here the border get a bit thicker, and now I will keep that
Um,
all the time.
okay.
So
They're kind of like freeze panes in Excel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
it's the same. I think we took the idea from that. Don't say it.
Okay.
But yes, that's definitely the idea. When I'm in Excel, I use a lot the freeze pane, and
Mhm.
it's really handy because when you have a lot of data, you want to keep some data, and you can choose. You can change. So I say, yeah, but I want to see the license. You see, because the freeze is on the column number. So you see what happened. License arrives
Yeah.
there and say, okay, move out. Now it's me, and he pushed out username, and so if I go there, now I'm looking
I
at this
see.
guy. You see? So
Handy.
if I bring this guy here, okay. So I'm going to go back to my regular view and here, just to get my regular
Mhm.
data. So this is about the freeze. So freeze is pretty handy. When you have to navigate through a lot of data and you try to keep a trace on that. So
Mhm.
after that, so the interesting part is about the formatting. So a good example. So what I'm talking about the formatting by default. So when we have a text, easy. The format is pretty standard. It's a text. That's it. There is no
Right.
formatting on that.
Right.
But as soon, for example, you use a date or number, you may want to have some formatting on that. So let me show you. So let's say I want to have a vision of my users and by date of creation. So I want to have
Okay.
an ID. So I'm going to take this column and I'm going to group by creation date. Okay. So what I see now, so if I collapse, so shift minus, collapse everything here, as
Shift
we see
minus is
already.
the shortcut for collapsing.
Yeah, shift minus
Okay.
shortcut for collapse. So when I'm looking collapsing all, it collapses everything at once. So it's pretty handy because it gives you, so when you do a grouping, it gives you a global vision. So shift minus. So now I got all these date by to the second. Oh no, sorry, to the minute. To the minute. I
Mhm.
was wrong. To the minute. So honestly, as per se, it's not really handy. What can you do
Yeah.
with that? It's not,
Right.
there is no way. So you may want to organize that a bit differently. So, okay, I want to have my grouping by more on a date or month or whatever, and as created on here, but this is where maybe I will want to have the time if I need to go there. So how can I
Okay.
do that? So this is where there is multiple way to do that. You can do that from here. So you're on the header of the column. I want to change the format. Right
Uh-huh.
click. I got the cell format and group format here. Okay. Or I can do that directly from here. Because
And
this
what
is
was
a
the
header.
difference between cell format and group format?
Yeah, I'm coming to that.
Okay.
It's coming. So I can go here. So I can do that from here. So I don't have to find my column I use to the grouping.
Uh,
The header I drag and drop here. It is still a header column. So I can still have all the action I had
so
from here.
I can treat it like a header column even though it's up in the the
Exactly. Yeah.
sorter.
So
Okay.
so sometimes it's handy because when you have a lot of column, you don't want to
Ah,
search for it again.
yeah. I did not know
And
that.
another place, so when you are on the column, you will have the information inside of the tab
Uh-huh.
column format. Because something to know is any action you may have around here, this is a lot of options here, or any
Yeah.
action you may have over here, there will always be available in the ribbon. Always. So we
Okay.
show you, so you choose. You want to use the ribbon, you use the ribbon. You want to use the right click menu, you use the right click menu. It depends. Everyone has his own way to work. And
Okay.
interesting too is, when you go over, sometimes you have a shortcut. So for example, high selected column is a Control F6. So Control F6, sorry, 6, not F6, F6, not in French, in English. So Control F6, we do the same thing as clicking on this button or doing the same action here from the menu and going to hide selected. But
Okay.
here you see you have all kind of
All the
a
options.
recap of all the
Yeah.
shortcut. Okay. So now back to your question. So what's the difference between the group format
Cell
and
format and group format.
so if I select my group format here, so this is what it showed me. So this is a date. So since he understands this is a date, he showed me option for the date. And this is
Okay.
where I can choose exactly what I want. So by default, the date is going to be day, month, year, and hours and minutes. On the 12 hours. So you have the AM, PM stuff here.
Hmm.
And this should, I say should, should use your own default on Windows. It takes, so it's not, so
I see.
it sets itself on the Windows, your default settings.
Okay.
So now I can say, okay, I don't care about the date. About the time. Sorry, I'm only focusing on the date. So I'm going to do OK on that. Now you see my grouping change. If I do Shift minus again, so here I get a grouping by date. Okay, and if I want to change that, so I'm going to change the column format again, and I'm going to say, okay, but I only, months and year is way enough for what I'm looking for. So this is what I would like to have. So I'm going to do OK, and now I got a vision of all my creation by month. So didn't have to create some complex stuff. Doing the same in Excel, it's a pain because you have to use some aggregation stuff and everything. There is no grouping available in Excel. Here, just in a few clicks, you reorganize and you group the way, and because it changed how it groups. Changing the format affect the way it's going to group it.
True.
Okay, it seems obvious, but may not be obvious right away. So now I got a grouping by month, and if I want to have fun here, I could change my created on, say, I don't need that because I have my grouping here. So I want to change the format on this guy. So this is where I'm going to change and use the cell format. So this time I'm working on the cell format. You see, I get all my options again. And here I can say, well, I only want the date. And I want the hours to the second on a 24 hours basis. Okay. Ta-da.
So even though it says cell format, it is really for all cells in that column.
It's for the column, always.
It's really a column.
Yeah, you work on a column.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good point. Maybe it should be. It's a cell format of the column, but it was too
long,
so we only we only put cell format.
Yeah. It's not that individual cell. Okay.
Here, you have some ability to. So you have some options here. So you say, okay, I want today here. In the day, I think. I don't think, no, we have the weekday, so I can ask to have the weekday. Weekday here. So now I got the date. It's Thursday. Okay. So it's your choice, your your data, your choice. So it's your choice. You chose.
And I guess the whole point is we're trying to move towards making this display what we want. Because we'll probably make a report from it. Okay.
Because when you're going to export, so if we go back to this global export button here, it's going to export what it has in the grid. So what you see is what you're going to get.
Including those numbers on the upper left, the count.
The count will be exported the same. Okay. Everything will be exported the same.
But if I don't want that account, can I change that?
So this is where, as soon as you go in the grouping section here, this is where you will have the ability to a bit, set different roles on your grouping, and to say, okay, yeah, but because everyone needs some specific stuff. So this is where we provided option to give you the ability to organize the groupings the way you want.
Okay.
So definitely here, a count is nice because right away you see how many entries you have in it. But now, let's say if I go in my manage and in my global, and I do an export on that. So I'm going to export the grid. So don't forget, you export what you see. So it will only export the group.
Just what's on the screen. Okay.
What's on the screen. I don't need the technical column. Technical columns are all this one we have here, It's about the status, so usually you don't want that. You don't want to have that. I'm going to create a new, and I'm going to export that, and it's going to export that to. So it proposed, to build the name of the file by default, use the name of the module.
I see.
You can change it. It's just, we propose you something, so we offer you a setting, but after you can change it for sure, and you see now this is what I have.
So it's just as ugly as the view.
So if you need to do some sorting processing from Excel inside of that, then this counter is going to be a pain, for sure.
It sounds like I'm better off to do all my computing and sorting and make the view as great as possible before I export
this is where, definitely, I agree. And this is where, the grouping option is very interesting. So this, you see this one here, so it's purple, means it is on. If I
Okay.
click on it, I just get rid of the counter.
Ah, great.
Okay,
That's much cleaner.
that's an easy one. Another interesting one. These two here are really interesting. You know, first one is because here it's sort by default. A grouping is sorted by the value. So here I use year month, so it's the year and the month, so it's going to use a date. So it's going to be sorted in the smaller in the top and the bigger in the the bigger date is sooner and
Right. Yeah, I got it. I got it.
You got this one. Okay, thanks. Sometimes every time it's like sometimes the right and the hand, the right and the left, I have to raise my hand just to check. Yeah, this is right.
I see.
So and so you can change that. You say, well, I would be interested to see the count sorting. So if I click on that, I'm sorting by the count. So I can see right away the one. So and if I move that, I see the one that has the most and the one. So rather than using the text, the date, I'm using the count to sort my grouping, which becomes very interesting because it's less process to do, just in a click. Another interesting one is here, as you can see in this view, I have a total. So a total is something that you set here in the grouping, and you have multiple options on the total here. So this, so here we use
Oh, you're saying
the
that was the total of that group.
this is the total. So the way it works is total is more generic. Sorry, double click. So it's more generic than that. A total is really so you select a column and say every time there is a grouping, I want to have a total on that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, whatever the grouping. If there's multiple layers of grouping, it will. I can show you if I do by department now. So I have two layers of grouping. Then I'm going to minus everything to make it small. Now I get my total by department.
Ah, so
Also,
it's doing a sub
it's the
total also.
subtotal
Yeah.
automatically. It's really
Ah,
compute
okay.
the total
Nice.
altogether.
Nice.
And to set a total, so there is multiple ways. The best way
Uh-huh.
is to select the column you're looking at, go in grouping, and this is where you will be able to select the total.
So wow,
and we show,
it's
as you can
how
see, we
that
show
we call
multiple.
it
Yeah, sorry.
total, but it could really be average. Yeah, that's
It
interesting.
can be an
We
average,
control the
minimum.
computation. Got it.
Yeah, having a minimum. You want to have here the minimum. You want
Yeah.
to have the maximum, the delta. You want
Nice.
to have a count, or you want to count without counting the blank cell, so everything that is doesn't have any value. So here it's really it gives you the ability to set something here, and everything will be computed automatically. The interesting part is, let's say now I'm going to do a quick filter. So we said we were not going to talk about filters, but I still want to show you that. Okay. So
Okay.
my idea here is that I just want to see the allowed one. I don't care about the blocked. Okay. So I'm going to remove the blocked one. Everything computed automatically. So
Ah,
my
yeah.
total updated, it gives you the total of what it has, not of what is there.
I
So
think that's
here,
important because when I hear total in my brain, I'm really thinking, I guess, what mathematically is sum,
it's a
but we
sum.
actually can really customize what it's doing. That's very important to know.
Yeah.
That's very handy.
And you see here, my counts became complex a bit
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Because now we have a 18 on 29. Here on the counts, it's going to tell you, well, for this group, this production here, I have 29, but I'm only showing you 18 because
That's
I
what
did a
that's
filter.
telling me. Okay.
This is what it's telling you. So it's giving you, a situation about your filtering, how you use that.
Ah, that's good to know.
Another interesting option that I really found really handy. Oh, remember we were talking about sorting by count?
Mm-hmm.
Now I can say, yeah, but I want to sort by total. If you can tell me that. Okay, that's a bug. I should have the total
A cool
here,
feature, yeah.
and I should be able to say I want to sort by this total. So the
Okay.
sorting on the total, so the grouping will be sort on the value in the total, rather than being sorting on whatever else I can set. Okay.
But just to be fair, because you picked count and total, I'm still getting the sort on the total, but it's showing me the count because I said I want the count.
Yeah. Because here
Yeah.
what happened is I got a total here set. So let me do something. I'm going to disable, I'm going to re-enable and do a sum on that. And now
Okay.
I'm going to, you see, now it's working. Okay,
There we go.
so here we go. So we see here the total, and
So
we release
it
the
reminds
list.
me what it's totaling on. That's good.
So because you can have multiple columns that have each one their own total. Okay, and
Wow.
so here you choose which one you want to sort on, and now I got a vision. My grid is sorted by the total, so I can see which one has the biggest. For example, here's the unit cost, so it's a sum of all the unit costs of the license. Okay, give
Hmm.
me by month the date of creation, the biggest amount. So which one has the biggest cost on the license? So it's you see that uh, this is an opening for everything you can imagine.
Hmm.
And a last one that I find really interesting is this two option here. Because sometimes you say, okay, but I don't care. What I care is when I have more than one. Let's say you're looking at group member and you say, okay, I want to find every team that have more than one member or one owner. So you
Hmm.
create a grid that let's say is going to count the owners, but there's multiple ways to do that. And
Right.
they'll say, and here with this option, you say, okay, hide me everything that is only one. You
So
see
I
the
know
grid?
it's hidden. It's hidden because it's not purple.
Yep. If I select it, but we explain it here. Show single entry category. So if I disable that, we don't show
Hmm.
single entry categories. So it's a quick way to do a filter. Say, I don't want to see what is single. I want only see where we have multiple information.
That's very
Another one
handy.
is, by you see here, it says show
Yeah.
empty groups. So it is disabled by default. We don't show empty groups. But if I click here, I will
Ah.
see situation if I have groups that has nothing. When can I have a group that doesn't have any content? A good example if I did a filter that hide some entries, and so the group is empty by default. It
Uh-huh.
exists, but it's empty because it is filtered
Right.
out. But here you can say, I want to see the groups. I want to see the groups that are filtered out. So that's
By
it.
the way, I
So
see at
this,
the top, I see expand all and collapse all. That's the same as your shift minus
yeah,
trick.
and you see that here, by the way. So the famous, so the mage. I don't know why my
I know, but it means
shift.
it means
So
shift.
yeah,
Yes.
so we have a few entry because this is so shift minus is definitely you collapse everything. We have the expand everything, which is going to be a shift star. Shift star is going to explode everything. An interesting one is up to. This is interesting. When you have multiple level of categorization and you just want to see.
Uh-huh.
So if I say shift one, you see it only open one category. So now I have a status of all my two categories at once. So I don't have to do all that manually. So open that, open that, open that. Just by using that, it's a quick way to get a status of my situation and to have my count and my totals, etc., right away on the first level, second level, third level, whatever you choose to. So
This
it's pretty.
seems very powerful. It seems that once you get this set up the way you want it, it's probably a good idea to save this view so you don't have to do this all again.
Yeah. So you can go here and say, okay, so you can save the view or you can
Uh-huh.
ask to create a new one if you want. So if I go here, I can say create a new view. So it will create a new view from the view I just selected here. Yeah.
That way I don't have to do this again if I
And
do
you
this
don't have
often.
to do that again. It will keep all that. The
Great.
format, so it will keep the grouping, the format, the sorting, the filtering. So
Nice.
it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. So as you can see, so definitely manipulating data, organizing the data the way you want, and in a few clicks, just being able. So all the options you see here, they all came from, oh, this is nice, but it would be better if I could do that.
Mm.
It always came from something like that. A situation where, oh, this is cool, but how can I now have this answer? I want to have this answer. I don't want to see, for example, the single out. Okay, yeah, we're going to put something for that. I don't want to see that. Yeah, okay. I want
Right.
to group that. I don't want to have the counter. Yeah, sure. Let's remove the counter if you want. So this
This is
is
very
every time
powerful.
from a feedback.
Great. All right, before you wrap up, Eric, this is very useful stuff. Just because it always bothers me personally, would you remind us how to get rid of the columns we don't want?
So there is multiple ways to do that.
Okay.
The way number one is say, okay, I don't want you anymore. Drag and drop.
So
You take your
you
column
drag and
header
drop on the trash can. Okay.
and you drag and drop here on the trash can. Yeah, that's it. It's out. I want to remove a group. Right click. I can say ungroup this column. So that's also the way, or hide this column. So be ready for that. I hidden. So the column is hidden, but I
Okay.
didn't have to ungroup. This is why it is red pinkish.
Oh, that's okay.
It
So
tells
I know
you have a grouping,
I have
but
a
the
grouping.
column
You
is not
just
in the grid.
That's good to know. That's
So
very interesting.
you can do some grouping on stuff without having the information in the grid.
That's nice.
Okay. So the right click, ungroup, hide. The drag and drop, that's another one.
Okay.
And after one, there is a big one, which is if I go on here, or it's also available here, the show hide column. This is all the list of all the columns. Everything that is red is not currently being shown.
Okay.
Everything that is white is what is currently being shown. So at any time, there is two ways. Either you do with these two, I would say, major action, which is show what I selected, I selected. But sometimes that was a pain. So what we did is we say, yeah, I'm interested to this guy. Right click, show selected column. And so I
Okay.
don't have to do it back and forth, back and forth. I have a
I
context. I
like
see the
that.
column here, and I say, okay, this one I want to hide that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, the story is we use the tool ourselves. I'm a big lazy guy. So if I have to click a lot of things, I don't like it. So usually we complain to the developers and say, okay, we need to have a new button because
Fences
this
it,
is really
yeah.
a pain.
Well, I am a right mouse button person,
Okay,
so I'm
okay,
pleased to see that that's my habit. That I have my way to do it, and for the ribbon people, they can find the same information. So we
exactly.
all
Yeah.
have a way to manipulate. Good. This is some very powerful stuff. I'm looking forward to our next session when we get into filtering to make this even better.
Oh yeah, this is
Yeah.
interesting. Featuring is a really interesting feature.
Excellent.
Cool. Well,
Well, thank
thank
you,
you.
Eric.
You're welcome.
Have a great rest of the day.
You too.